Hey guys, welcome to the latest showcase for my newest script, TreasureBox. Now this plugin here incorporates a new fishing mechanic that Rust recently introduced and rewards the players with the potential to receive a casket. And when opened, the casket will reward the player with 3 random items based on an item table. Now the item table consists of every single item within Rust, and it's updated whenever the game is updated. Or can be manually updated either via the configuration file or in-game with a command. Yeah, you can basically add your own custom items, or simply amend and adjust the existing items in there. So we're going to go through each of the configuration settings, and I'll tell you sort of how it works, and we'll go from there. So there are 3 tiers of loot. There's sort of common, rare, and elite. Common is outlined in with a blue sort of background. Rare is purple and elite is orange, and these are the border colors here. Now the rarity chance is out of 1,000. So what happens is the plugin will roll a randomly generate a number between 0 and 1,000. And if it is between the range of numbers selected here, it will basically, if it's within range of this number here, it will drop a casket for the player. So for example, the default value here, which is 20 out of 1,000, would be a 2% chance. So 2% of every time a player catches the configured fish, they will be rewarded with this item. Now, these are the fish here that will trigger the roll. So anytime any of these fish here are caught, it will trigger a chance for this to get a casket. So you can set this value to whatever you want. If you want it to be a 50-50 chance every time a fish is caught, you can set this to 500. Otherwise, if you just want it to be a 2% chance, leave it at 20. This is the skin of the actual casket item, which is this one here. So you can make your own, or you can leave it as default. It's entirely up to you. The opening effect is the effect played on the player when opening the chest. You can see here little stars kind of form around me. I don't know if you saw that, but I'll just go a bit higher. Little stars kind of form around you. That's the effect there. It kind of plays. You can nominate your own one if you're familiar with how to do it. Otherwise, you can just leave it as default. Now the catchable items are basically just the fish that's included with this plugin. So these are all the fish you can catch in fishing as of the release. You can add things like tarp and everything else if you want the random chance to be rolled on tarp, but I've left it at fish because fish are really the only challenging things to catch. Everything else is just kind of guaranteed. Set notifications when fishing. So when you cast your rod out, you'll get a notification in your chat box saying you are now fishing, and when you stop fishing, you'll no longer be fishing. Now, because there's no hooks for fishing at the moment, I've had to kind of create it using a series of different checks. So basically, when a rod gets cast out, it enables the player's fishing. So if they attempt to switch between another item, they will, it'll cancel the fish. So, or if they attempt to pick up another item on the ground, for example, I'll try to pick up this pumpkin when I'm fishing, it'll say I can't do it. And that's because the actual trigger for the roll is when an item lands into the player's inventory, and what it does is it checks the items before, the items after, and checks to see which item obviously was caught. So it's part of the list here. As you can see, I'm reeling in this fish. I caught in a fish. It's saying I'm no longer fishing, but because I wasn't successfully acquired a casket, I just got the fish and didn't get anything else. So yeah, that's kind of what the notifications are. Now the item rarities. So as I mentioned before, blue is common, purple is rare, and orange is elite. And they're represented by numerical values 0, 1, and 2 respectively. So you can see here wolf headdress, hat.wolf is a short name, rarity is 0, which means it's common, skin is 0, which means there's no overlying skin above it, and enabled is true, which means that the table will consider it when rolling. Now with the roll chances, what will happen is it'll proceed. When the script initiates, when the plugin initiates, it'll store each of the item rolls into 3 categories: obviously rare, elite, and common. Depending on the roll out of 1,000, so depending on a separate roll out of 1,000, it will roll on that particular table. So it generates a number between 0 and 1,000. If it's between 0 and 25, it will roll on the elite table. If it's between 26 and 100, it will roll on the rare table. And if it's between 101 and 1,000, it will roll on the common table. Now, for example, if you wanted to change it to make elites a little bit more common, you can set that to 100. And then what it'll mean is when it rolls between 0 and 100, it will roll on the elite table. When it rolls between 101 and 200, it will roll. Sorry, wrong plugin. It'll roll between 101 and 200. It'll provide you with the rare table, and above that will be the common table. Basically, long story short, it prioritizes the elite table, then adds the value of the number on top of the elite, the last roll of the elite table for the starting number for the rare table. All of which is out of 1,000. So for every number you increase this, you decrease the chance that a common drop's going to happen. But if you just want to leave it as a 2.5% chance for elites and 10% chance for rare, then leave it as is. Remember, this rolls 3 times every time a casket's opened. So this rolls per slot in the casket, which is always 3. And you can see here, I've obviously got different rarities assigned to each of them. So most of them are 0 because a lot of it's fairly standard. Things like incendiary rockets I've put a rarity as 1. Things like custom costumes and whatnot, because I run an RP server, I put as 2. Like arcade machines and whatnot. It's good to stack. I've personally stacked a heap of random items into the elite rarity as well. Stuff that's more cosmetic than anything, but you do whatever your server requires. And that's pretty much it. So in terms of the commands, there are 2 commands. The commands are casket /casket, which will provide a user with a casket. And that's admin only, so you need to have the permissions for admin. And the second option is update items, which will basically go through the configuration, check and see what's not currently in the configuration file, and add it to the configuration file. So if there's any new items released in Rust, for example, we just had the harpoons and whatnot, it adds that to the list. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, any bugs, any issues, feel free to get in touch with me. Otherwise, enjoy.